Where's the other piece? Where's the other piece, man? Oh, thank you. Right. The pieces are coming together. All right. Good. Hey guys, Tim Ardwine here, long-haired ghost hunter, author of Ghost Hunting Getting Started, co-founder of Ghostly Experiences. Welcome to Ghost Hunting Getting Started, the series, episode 4. Now, if you're new here, welcome and thank you. I want you guys to meet Sammy. How you doing? Aloha. Yeah. Yeah, I guess you could be from Hawaii. I mean, they got Amazon there too. Tonight, on this episode, we're going to be talking about joining teams, forming a team. Okay. Now, if you're getting into ghost hunting, you got 3 options. 1, you strike out on your own. Now, when I first started this, I kind of had to strike out on my own because there weren't that many teams back then. Eventually, I joined a team, then I built teams. Second option, join in a team. Now, if you're going to join a team, shop around. Okay. Just make sure they're offering what you want to get out of this. And remember, a good team will bring you 3 things: credibility, experience, and knowledge. Knowledge of techniques, procedures, and about the tools. Okay. Now, where do you find these teams? Okay. 1, you can just simply Google ghost hunting teams, in your area, wherever you're at, see if it pops up. Another thing, you could go to something called national registries. Now, there's 2 I always recommend because I know they have a good track record over the years of vetting teams before they bring them on. Okay, 1 is paranormalsocieties.com. 2nd, Ghost Stop. Now, you go to these websites, you click on teams in your area, then you click on the state, then you look for something around your area. Okay. Now, another way is, ghost hunting isn't a seasonal event anymore. There's teams doing investigations, public investigations all the time. So keep an eye out for events in your area. Okay. They're usually hosted by local teams. Pay for the events. And remember, when you're paying for it, usually the location gets, part of it at least. So it's a fundraiser. So you're helping the location. So go to these events, get to know the team, see if they're something you want to work with, if you're comfortable with them, and then see if they're expanding. Right. Now, if you want to form a team, there's some thought processes that have to be changed. Now, there's 4 thought processes. 1, be excited about what you're doing. Don't be afraid to talk about it. You're going to be amazed of how many people are in the ghost hunting, ghost, and probably have had an experience. Now, these people have probably waited for someone like you the whole time. Someone they tell the story to that they don't think, you don't think they're crazy. Okay. 2nd, just be aware when you're building a team, you're bringing on volunteers. Now, these people are going to have lives. They're going to have families, jobs. Now, not every investigator is going to make every investigation. So always build numbers so you have coverage for your investigations. Okay. 3, you got to feel good about these people. You have a good feeling because you're going to be bringing these people into houses, businesses, maybe historic locations. So you got to feel good about that because they're going to be coming in under your name, per se. All right. And then 4. 4 is actually a very early decision you have to make. Am I going to charge for investigations? Now, I don't know any credible team that charges. I don't charge. And I have 3 reasons. 1, if you're not collecting money, then the client has to know that they are the priority because you're not there getting a check. 2, if you're not collecting money, then you can be honest with your evidence. In other words, you don't have to tell the client what they want because you're getting a check. And 3 for me is a kind of a two-way street. Okay. You want to go out there and investigate. You want to gather evidence. You want to gain experience. You want to use your equipment. Okay. Now you got to remember, these people, now your clients, are allowing you into their locations and they're not charging you. Right. So now the thought process is over. Now we got to do some steps. First, you got to find members. Now, where can you find this? Different outlets. You can always, set up a website, social media. You do meetups. Now, meetups for me, I always recommend doing a public place, like a diner, coffee shop, something like that, because, you don't know these people yet. And it's just a safety precaution. All right. Now, while you're doing this, you're going to be promoting yourself and your team. Okay. How can you do that? You can do it by word of mouth. Remember, be excited. Talk about what you're doing. You can, like I said, set up a website, social media, invest in business cards, shirts. I've had more conversations because I was wearing a shirt. And they usually go like, man, that's really cool. I wish I can do that. That might be a member. Or, man, that's pretty cool. I think my place is active. That might be an investigation. Okay. So now once you start doing this and you start getting context, set up a meeting, again, in a public place. And what you want to do is you want to kind of get a feel for them, and you also want to know their expectations, what their thoughts are ghost hunting. For example, I had a guy years ago, did a meetup, and he just had this fixation. He just wanted to look for animal spirits, and that's all he wanted to do. And I said, yeah, well, if we run across them, that'd be great evidence, but I'm trying to look for evidence at every angle. So we didn't quite mesh. So get to know their expectations, and then turn around, let them know your expectations. What's your values? Okay, for me, credibility is everything. So I don't like having members who make things up. It ruins your credibility. And then I always want members who are going to put the client first, right? Now, you're promoting yourself, you got things going. It's time to invest in some tools because you want to be ready for that first investigation. You hate to get a call and say, nah, I can't this week because I'm, I don't have enough stuff. I don't have the right tools. Be ready for it. Now, tools we're going to really get into down the road. I just want to introduce you to something called the Basic Toolkit. First rule with equipment and tools. Don't mortgage the house. Okay. You don't have to. Okay. Now, Basic Toolkit, you're going to want a digital camera, digital camcorder. Now, I know phones can do all that. All the new smartphones can do that. And if that's what you have to start with, that's fine. But remember, when you're reviewing evidence, remember what to look for. Because remember I said last time we met was false orbs. White flashes will make false orbs. So you could invest in something like this. This is a modified GoPro camera. Okay. And I say modified because the filter has been replaced. Color filter has been replaced with a clear filter. Okay. So now it's going to reach deeper into the light spectrum. And then you can use lights like this. Cut that one off. This is a full spectrum or an infrared light. Okay. So now there's no more white lights. You don't have to worry about that. Now those cameras will do pictures and video. So you may have to just maybe start with one for video and, get another one unless you'll use your phone for pictures. Okay. Because it's always good to have a video running. Okay. Next thing, you want to get a digital audio recorder. Now, again, phones can do that. But, I've been playing with recorders over the years to see what gets hits, what's successful, like in EVPs. That's reasonable. Okay. So there's something here. This is a Sony ST10. There's also Sony ST25. Now, these recorders are not at a Sony store. They're old recorders, so you may have to go to eBay, to look for them. They're usually $60, $100 tops. Okay. Now, you notice I said digital camcorder, digital camera, digital recorder. I say digital because that's common now. That's the most common. But digital is good because you can gather evidence, upload it, and share it. Because at the end of the day, you want to share your evidence with the client. And during evidence review, you may want to share the evidence with your teammates to see if they get the same thing. Like, did they hear the same EVP you got? All right. Next, you're going to want to get an EMF detector. Now, these are not ghost finders. Some people will market them that they're ghost finders. All they are is EMF, electromagnetic field detectors. So one switch, lights go on. All you're looking for is going to check. It's going to changes in EMF fields. Okay, you're looking for spikes, and we'll talk about that as we go along. Or I start out with a compass. Now remember, compasses run on electromagnetic field changes. So compass is a start if that's all you can get for now. Right. Now, another thing that people are using is cat balls. It's a cat toy. Lights up. Okay. It's motion sensitive. So the reason we like these are they're light, they're easily moved. They light up when their motion sensor moves. So you can use it, say like, hey, if you're here, can you make the ball light up? And they're about $7 on Amazon. Okay. Now, the only thing about these are once the battery's dead, it's gone. So remember, one touch, turn it off when you're done. And then you want to get an infrared thermometer. This is a trigger one. All you do is you press the trigger, you point it, and wherever the laser hits, it's going to give you a temperature reading on the screen. But remember, your best on-hand tool is you. Okay. Remember, personal experiences are part of evidence. So if you had none of this stuff, and let's say you're in a hotel room, you can always say, hey, someone here make a noise. Your best on-hands tool is you. Look, listen, feel, smell. Look, do you see a shadow? Do you see something moving? Listen. Do you hear knocking sounds? Do you hear disembodied voices, whispers? Feel. Do you feel cold spots? Do you feel your hair standing up? And then smell. Now, remember last time we talked about residual hauntings. Smells are very big with residuals. The most common is tobacco, flowers, perfume. All right. So remember, don't mortgage the house for it. Okay, it's not worth it. Okay, you can get started pretty cheap, and then you can start adding stuff as you go along. All right. So that's form and join a team. Remember, just feel good about who you're with, and just have a good time with us. Now, as much as you know, I'm a retired paramedic, and safety is very big for me. So every week we have a first aid tip of the week. So check it out.
All right, let's close her up. Relax.
Let's catch up. Can I get some fries? Oh yeah, by the way, here's your first aid tip of the week. Okay. This week, we're going to talk about controlled bleeding. Okay. Now, profuse bleeding can lead to hypovolemic shock, fluid loss, which is a dire emergency. So we're going to talk about controlled bleeding. All right. So your biggest challenge, if you remember last week, we talked about types of bleeds, is your arterial bleed. Because as I said, there's a hole in the hose. Okay. But instead of it just flowing, the heart is pumping blood away from it in an artery. So now instead of just flowing out, it's being pumped out. So arterial bleeds are usually bright red and spurting. They're your biggest challenge. Now the body has a normal clotting process. That's why if you cut yourself shaving, you don't bleed to death because there's a natural clotting process. Right? It's usually 4 to 7 minutes. Okay. Barring if the person's not on any medicines or has a history, they can make blood thinner and the clotting slower. Barring all that, it's 4 to 7 minutes. Now, regardless, remember, if you can't stop the bleeding with these techniques in 10 minutes, call rescue. All right. So we're going to talk about 3 techniques. The first one, direct pressure. Now, direct pressure is basically, you had an injury on your hand. You hold direct pressure on it. Okay, 4 to 7 minutes or so. Now, remember what I told you before. If the blood is seeping through the gauze, don't take it off because you're going to interrupt the process, the clotting process. Just pile more gauze on. Okay. 2 is elevate. Now, you can elevate the wound above the heart level. Now, what this is going to do is slow down the blood flow. It just helps you control it better. Now, you can do 1, direct pressure, and 2, elevate at the same time. Now, the third technique are called pressure points. Now, pressure points are arteries, and you're kind of like, I don't know, crimping the hose per se. Okay. Now there's 4 we're going to talk about. 1 is the radial. Now the radial is on the thumb side. Okay. You feel the radial bone, that soft spot between. Now it's kind of like where people check pulses. Okay. That's radial artery. Put pressure on that. If you got someone there helping you, you can put pressure on it. Direct pressure, elevate. That'll help you out a lot. Second point, brachial artery. Now, the brachial artery is mid-arm above the elbow. So you just press here. And again, if you can elevate it, direct pressure, that'll help you out a lot. Now, the other 2 are for the legs. 1 is the femoral. Now, the femoral artery is high thigh, middle. Imagine the groin area. So you put pressure there. Okay. And then the last one is popliteal. Popliteal is the for the lower leg injuries. Now, the popliteal artery runs right behind the kneecap. So you can literally grasp the front of the kneecap, put your thumbs behind, and put pressure on it there. Now, once you got all the bleeding under control, you think, you can, take a roll gauze and put a snugly wrapped around the wound. That way it will keep the direct pressure there. Okay. Don't do tight where it's cutting off circulation. Just where it's snugly, where it's putting pressure on it. Right. Now, there's another kind of bleed that people experience, nosebleeds. Now, nosebleeds they can be from trauma, allergies, and just a dry atmosphere. Now, if it's trauma, like someone fell down, ran into something, or got punched, hope you never run into that. You want to keep the person as still as possible. And you may want to call rescue depending what happened, because you want to be proactive for any head or neck injuries. Okay. Now, if it's any kind of nosebleed, if it's allergies or just people sometimes have weak capillaries and they'll get frequent nosebleeds. What you want to do is you take gauze, you pinch the nostrils, and you hold it 5 to 15 minutes. Okay. Now, don't put their head back. If you put the head back, there's a chance that some blood may drip down into the esophagus and they'll swallow blood. Okay. So put their head forward, slightly down, pinch it. Okay. Just let them breathe out their mouth. After 5 to 15 minutes, if you think it's gone, remember, if it's worse, pile it on the gauze. Now, if you pull away the gauze, you might get some clots out of the nose. If they're still having trouble breathing through their nose or they're anxious about it, they may want to try to pull the clot out, and it may have stopped above that already. If it's still bleeding, just do it again. All right. So that's your tip of the week. Oh, remember one more thing. As I said before, any injuries, when you're done, like the gauze, anything like that, put ice on it. All right. So that's your tip of the week. I hope you never have to use them, but it's just good to have them. All right. Any questions, comments, tips, you can send into Long Hair Ghost Hunter. Hold on one second. Change something. longhairghosthunter@gmail.com. Okay. Now, I can be found in any of these things on the banner. longhairghosthunter.com, longhairghosthunter@gmail.com, Longhair Ghost Hunter, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, or ghostlyexperiences.net. Right. Now, if you guys are in South Florida and you want to take part of the Ghostly Experiences Paranormal Boot Camp, go to the website. August, we might be switching a date. So just if you're interested, go to ghostlyexperiences.net and I'll have the updated up probably about tomorrow as soon as I know. All right. Now, what we do is we do like an hour of teaching and then we break right into an investigation. So the place is a historic location and it's active. I've been there dozens of times. All right. So at 9:45 tonight, I'm going to go on my YouTube, Long Hair Ghost Hunter YouTube, and do a live where we can interact. If you got questions, comments, anything like that. Okay. The book, Ghost Hunting Getting Started, is Amazon. All right. What? Are there a lot of you out now? Oh, you mean skulls? Yeah. Yeah. It's after July 4th. A lot of stores probably have Halloween out already. So, why you want to visit someone? No? Okay. All right. So remember, next Wednesday night, we're going to have another episode, 9 o'clock. And then 9:45, we'll go live. So if you have any questions, comments, tips, reach out to longhairghosthunter@gmail. If you're in the South Florida area and you think you have activity, reach out to the same email. I don't charge for investigations. We're just there to help people and find some answers. All right. So we will see you guys next week. If you're out there investigating, be safe. Sammy?